All right, welcome back to the channel, you guys. I'm going to give it a couple minutes to see. I know y'all got a lot to say. We gonna talk about it too. We got a lot of good stuff to unpack in today's episode. When we did the midweek chat last night, Bree and I, we gave y'all a forewarning about what was coming as November sweeps is sweeping on both Y and R. Well, on Y and R, I don't know if I could say that too much about the bold and the beautiful, in my opinion. I mean, maybe somebody else might think differently, but yeah. All right. Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey Myra, Melissa, Spencer, Cheryl, Angela, Grace, Indigo Blue, Vicky Langer, Daycare with the Kids, Angela again, Cheryl. Hey you guys, hi Aisha. Oh yeah, we got a lot to talk about, but guess what? We're gonna do it in reverse because there's a lot of things that I want to unpack with Y&R. So we're actually going to start with bold first today because, honestly, I am so disappointed in the bold and the beautiful right now. And yeah, you guys, I don't know. I'm going to get you guys' opinion, but I'm going to let everybody stroll on in. Oh my goodness. Look at all of the folks. I mean, the notification just went out about what? A good minute or so ago, and it's already 35 people in this chat. All right, you guys, welcome back to Soap Corner Talk, where we're going to discuss both The Young and the Restless and The Bold and the Beautiful for November 14th. Happy Friday Eve. Yes, it's Thursday. We're getting to the end of the week, and boy, do we have a lot to talk about. Oh, girl, Angela, listen, bold is so confusing. Bold is a big disappointment. All right, so without any further ado, I'm going to jump into bold. We're going to kind of touch on that pretty quickly because I want to dive deep into what happened on Y&R. So, pretty much today we had Deacon summoning Finn to come over so he can gain support from Finn to support his daughter. And hey, I gotta say, this is the first time that we actually saw Finn absolutely stand 10 toes down and said it with his chest like, look, I'm supporting my wife. And I was there. You trying to tell me what I saw was wrong, what Steffy saw is wrong, and you think Steffy is wrong for firing her and doing all this stuff. Well, I was there too. You can't overlook that. And you can't overlook the fact that, she kissed me at Eric's house. So, I mean, Finn stood 10 toes down co signing with Steph. Now, do they both have it wrong? Absolutely. But a lot of this, and I'll talk more about this when it comes to Hope, it's all her fault. It's all her fault. And anybody that listen to her and take direction from her, you're part of the problem too. Do y'all think Carter will do something funny with that LLC? Probably so. And it look like it should come out in the Friday episode. So we'll see. How can Hope have it? I know, Aisha. That whole thing with Finn and Deacon was just a waste of time to me because it's like you call that man all the way down there. He thinking it's about Sheila, and you're trying to talk Finn into standing up for Hope, knowing that that's gonna cause a conflict in his marriage. Really, Deacon? Yeah, you tried, but no. Then we got the situation going on over at the cabin. And at first, I'm over. I'm over it. I'm over it. I don't care what kind of energy Carter had with Quinn or Hope had with Thomas. I am over these two. Now, I will talk about the fact that we did hear Steffi say, I don't care who she dates. I don't care who Hope's dating. I don't want her messing with my husband. This could be over. This could be done with, and we can move on. They could have created a better sweeps month in my opinion. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with these LLCs, but all of this, in my opinion, can be avoided if Hope would just let it be. And you got this man. And I'm like, who is, I mean, you taking direction and orders from Hope. Y'all in this situation because of the stupid mistakes that she made. Now you're going to listen to her advice to say, no, don't say anything. I mean, Carter and Brooke is like, look, why don't we just say that we're seeing each other? It just makes no sense. Angela said Carter said before 2 times, once with Hope and with Brooke. He'll say it again, what he means, and he dismissed. Okay, I don't understand what you're saying there. Tanisha said Hope is 100% responsible for the position that they're in. Absolutely facts. Number one, do not be in a public place where you're going to change your clothes that anybody can walk in. Number two, if you're hoping that your guy is going to come back in the room, check his location to see where he is. He left the building. Meet him at the house. Y'all could have had all the privacy in the world. And then Steffi asked you 4 times, why were you dressed in lingerie and who was it for? And you said nothing. Plus your line is failing, and it has been failing for the last 3 quarters. And at this point, now you're telling your mother and the guy that you're seeing, pretty much I'm calling the shots, and I don't want y'all to say anything. So it puts her mom in a precarious position with Ridge, plus the fact that she is on the executive team. It puts Carter in a precarious position because he wants to fight for her, but can't fight without the ammunition because Hope is holding the ammunition back. It's just dumb. Of course she's playing him, Jenna. I mean, she's putting a battery in this man's back. She's putting a battery in this man's back. Absolutely. And he's just like, oh yeah, I'm going to fight for her. Oh yeah, I'm going to do whatever you tell me. That is, to me, that is so unattractive. I like a man to take charge. That's just me. I like a man that leads. And if he say, you know what we need to do is this, why don't I go in there, let them know that we're seeing each other, and go from there? Nope, you're going to let her tell you what to do. And now it's making the situation worse because you're fighting without ammunition. It'd be different if they say, hey, why are you supporting, which takes us to the conversation in the office, because Carter is fighting for Hope's line. And they're like, why are you going so hard in the paint and crashing out over Hope's line? What is this about? Why is this? And you're putting your ideas out here. Now, what's disrespectful that Carter is doing is that, Eric already told you he don't want to do all this other stuff. He says that I'm not taking on any loans. I've never had loans in the 40 years or 30, almost 40 years that I've had this company. I'm not doing it. And you still go behind Eric's back to get Ridge and Steffi to what? Side with you? So just say, for example, Ridge and Steffi decided to do that after Eric had already said no. Do you know what type of problem that would have caused in that CEO office? It's crazy. Melissa Spencer, absolutely. It's the writer's fault. I do know the difference between real life and TV life. We're speaking in soapland. So, yeah, the writing of Hope is the problem. Jenna said, what makes me angry is that Carter is doing all of this just to keep a dying line that's not making money. Exactly. That's not a smart business move. That's not a smart business move at all. It makes 0 sense. Sawana, hey Sawana, I think some of y'all need glasses. Tell me what has Hope done to play Carter. So, I mean, first of all, it's not smart to hold hostage these two in regards to the secret that they're keeping. it's not a good thing to say, Mom, you can't tell anybody. Even though this will cause a rift in her relationship with Ridge and her being on the executive staff. And Carter, you can't tell anybody, knowing that this man is fighting for you, but you can't give him the ammunition which would squash all of this to say, hey, Steph, hey, Ridge, the reason why I'm going so hard is because me and her are in a relationship. Steph already said, I don't care who she date as long as it's not my husband. Exactly. It's just not smart. This whole storyline sucks. And it's one thing if this was a power play of some sort, and we're supposed to see whatever he finds and what's right in front of his face and how he looked like he might take over the company. But all of this is not even necessary if they just tell the truth about their relationship. It's not that complicated. And for them to write this the way that they're doing, it sucks. I'm going to say it. It is what it is. I don't like it. It just doesn't make any sense. Well, that's the thing, Jasmine. He got some good ideas, but those ideas cost money. They're not going to come out of thin air. You got to pay for supply, and that's what Eric was saying. I mean, I think he had wonderful ideas, but you got to have the capital to make it go. You got to have the capital to make it go. And he's trying to get them to do something that they technically don't have the money for. I mean, it's just exactly, Angela. The writing is just stupid. It's stupid. All they gotta do is tell the truth. That's it. All they gotta do is say, "Look, me and him, we dating." They can't get mad at that when you got Ridge dating Brooke. They work together there in the office, right? You had Katie at one point dating Ridge. You had what's the Eric and Donna, they were dating. I mean, it was dating across colleagues in this company for decades. So this is not going to make or break anything. And for the fact that both Brooke and Carter is listening to the BS that's coming from Hope, and the way that this is written, it's terrible. It just doesn't make any sense. And my thing is, your lines suck. I'm sorry. It's been, and that outfit that she had on today, and I'm like, I've seen Annika in beautiful clothes, and I'm like, production team, you could at least give us something cute. When she was with Thomas, they had her decked out. They had her decked out. She had some pretty outfits when she was with Thomas. Now she's going back to, I'm like, what she got on? Is that part of Hope for the Future too? Was that a robe or something? I don't know. I didn't like it. But I've seen Annika in other beautiful clothes, especially when she was dating Thomas. Yeah, their job's on the line. I mean, it'll be interesting if he takes control somehow and end up ousting the Forresters, which all it is because of Hope. And it's like, and all y'all need to do is tell the truth. It is what it is. Yeah, let's see what y'all talking about. Belinda Hill said, Jenna, I agree, but Steffi will fire Carter once she finds out he's in a relationship with Hope. Then he has a lawsuit because everybody in that office has dated or even married each other. It doesn't make sense for them to even think that way, that, oh my God, not you per se, Belinda, but Hope said that. Well, if she finds out that we're dating, she's thinking I'm going to influence you, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, your relationship has nothing to do with Forrester. And you don't even work there anymore. So what does it matter? You can't fire somebody for that unless there is some type of morality clause in your contract. And then if that's the case, then nobody in Forrester should be dating the other person. Exactly, Sandra. Why would Steffi care if she's dating Carter? She said that. The problem is she wants Hope to stay away from her husband. That's what she wants. This is terrible writing over this script. Exactly. Who said that? Rednecks. Or was there? Oh, Aisha. Bridget Jackson, Melissa Spencer, and Belinda Hill, you're 1,000% right. What was said? Let me see. But Steffi will fire Carter. Steffi is lying. She know good and well that she was and is going to explode when she find out about Hope and Carter. Come on, we know how Steffi is. Then it's stupid writing. Because if she get upset over that whole thing, then the writing is contradictory. The writing is contradictory. So I just briefly wanted to touch on that because I really truly I have a lot to say about Young and the Restless. I am actually proud of Josh Griffith this sweeps month, November. Yeah, sweeps month of November. I'm telling you, it was amazing. I'm going to give this episode a C minus, and I'm moving on. I'm gonna give it a C minus, a C minus. And then we got to talk about YNR because there's a lot of things. Not only do I want to talk about the storylines quickly today, but what is this connection? Because a lot of the questions that's been going on is why Ian and Jordan have anything against Heather Stevens. So I kind of want to dive into that, and then maybe a possible speculation I wanted to touch on with you guys. And I kind of posted it in the community tab as well. So, yeah, I mean, we had the wedding. Everybody looked gorgeous, as I mentioned last night. The dresses, the suits, the tuxedos, the marriage or the wedding went without a hitch. Absolutely beautiful wedding. Now here comes the fallout. So we had Billy finding out, of course, that Jill sold the company to Victor, and he is hotter than fish grease. The picture right above that I have been waiting for the last probably 3-4 months because Lily has been out of control. She took company secrets, gave it to Victor, kept it a secret, betrayed Jill, and at the end of the day, Jill had to break the news to her as well that I can no longer manage keeping up with Chancellor. I sold it to Victor. And the look on her face is like, no, you didn't. Lily, yes, she did. Yes, she did. Lily got the shock of her life. You are absolutely correct, Jenna. Listen, I put my face up because I watch it on my laptop, right? I put my face up to the screen and I wanted to get the picture of her face. Look at that, tongue tied. I wanted to get the picture of her face front and center when Jill told her, ma'am, you're officially out of a job because I sold the company to Victor. So everything that you've done, all of the hard work, even the scheming with Victor, yeah, it's over. And it looked like Jill is like, look, even though I'm feeling fine, I just don't want the stress of trying to keep up with the company. Now, what I am disappointed about Jill, which we spoke about last night, was the fact that Jill did not give Billy the credence that he deserved because honestly, I don't remember anything bad that Billy has done since she gave him the power, and it was like, why would you give him the power if you didn't trust him from the start? It's like, why did you do that to that man? You might as well left him alone and said, you know what, I'm going to leave Lily in charge. But the reason that she brought Billy over there was because there was an imbalance when it came to Mamie and Nate and Lily and Devon. And this is before the demerger. And so that's when Jill brought over Billy and Chance. And, she wanted more chancellors on her side or abbots. And I'm like, why did you bring this man over there if you didn't trust him in the first place? And it wasn't that it did anything wrong. And Bree and I mentioned this yesterday. It was a lot of people in Jill's ear telling Jill, oh yeah, he's going to blow up the company. oh yeah, he's going to be horrible. Lily was like, oh, you know, he's going to destroy and run your company in the ground. And I mean, because of his history, Jill believed what everybody was saying, even though nothing was actively happening that Billy did wrong, right? It just sucked, you know what I'm saying? And it's so unfortunate because I'm wondering where Billy is going to go from here. I mean, he could go back to Jabot, maybe, if Jack will have him, especially since Victor is targeting, you know, his company too. He might be like, you know what? I got a COO position. You might not want to be second in command. Come over here. I'll give you a place. You know, Abbott is your home. Blah, 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 blah. So we'll see what happened. More than likely, Lily, and I mean, anything is possible. More than likely, Lily will probably end back over at the Winters. You know what I mean? Yep, yep, yep. All right. Um, we also had, it was something else that went on that I thought I had a photo of it. Oh, the firing of Kyle. So Victor said, and it's crazy that Victor contradicted himself because he wanted everybody to not talk about business at his daughter's wedding. Yet when it came to Diane, not only did he talk business with Diane and said, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna give you Glissade, but you're gonna have to fire him at the wedding." And I'm like, Victor, okay, which one is it? Do you not want to do business? When Victoria tried to talk to you, you said you don't want to talk about business. We're going to talk about it tomorrow. When, you know, the whole thing with Billy had a meltdown and he told her to go talk to your dad. You don't want to talk about business with Victoria, but you talk about business with Diane, and not only that, you want her to fire this man just to prove to you in front of all of the guests you want to fire Kyle. Yeah. And she did it. Now, granted, you know what the spoilers say that, you know, Diane and Jack is about to be busted. And I'm assuming that's in the Friday episode because that was for tomorrow, the 15th. Spoiler. So, for those that are in Canada, you guys are probably getting that today. And for those who watch it a day ahead, we'll probably see it later in the next several hours. Why would he want to fire Kyle and then expose that she is working? Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, the other part exposed that she's working with Jack. I guess we're going to have to see how the dots connect tomorrow. But this was supposed to, in some sordid way, have her prove to Victor that she's legit. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that whole thing was pretty darn it was crazy. And she actually fired this man in front of folks. Everybody was looking, and um I know Kyle feels like a fool. Now, here's the thing. Part of this with Kyle being out, and I wonder what Audra's gonna say. Audra's gonna be laughing. I could imagine Audra like, nah, 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 you got fired, you know, because he got her out. And now Diane got him out. Now, obviously, it's part of a plan, but don't nobody know that, right? Nobody knows that at this point. But I could absolutely imagine Audra saying that. And Ashley is back. She was like, what is that bee doing here? I was like, well, Ashley's back. Ashley is back. I know, Jenna, the look on his face was unreal. When Diane fired, you said piss face. Girl, you so funny, Jacqueline. Lily was told a third time to stick to the winners. That should have been a sign. Absolutely. And especially Jill told her that too. But it was so much going on. I mean, the situation with Jill, Billy, and Lily, the situation with Diane and Kyle, and the whole firing. Jenna said you felt bad for him. Pauline said Sharon paying the price for the Victor screw up. Listen, so we're gonna dive deep into this whole marriage, and that's what I call it, a marriage of terror. Ooh, that's a nice title, a marriage of terror. as Hurricane Ian and Jordan hit landfall. We're going to get in that because a lot of folks had questions on why them when it comes to Heather. And I'll kind of dive deep into that. I was going to think about doing a standalone video, but I said, you know what, I'm going to just discuss it live with you guys, okay? The other biggest part of what happened is the situation with the accident. And it looked like Sharon didn't crash into Phyllis. Obviously, we know who's behind it. But Sharon thinks that she had something to do with it. And those text messages, her phone showed up back at the house, which obviously mean how did the heck did Jordan get on the property? It's like, okay, somebody had to sneak back into Sharon's house to put the phone there. And she don't even remember leaving it there. But obviously she gonna just chalk it up to, oh, maybe I forgot, you know? Anyway, we got Phyllis unconscious. Her car is in in a whole ball of flames, bursting in flames. Nick and Chan show up because they hear the car crash outside the Newman Ranch. And they're like, wait a minute, was that a car? Let me go check it out. And Nick went out there, found out it was Phyllis. And of course, Sharon crashed her car too. So what I'm assuming is that maybe Jordan's vehicle threw both of them off. They didn't crash into each other. Because if you look at it, Sharon crashed into a tree separately from the tree that Phyllis crashed into. So I'm assuming that Jordan kind of, distracted both of them. With I think she distracted Sharon with the headlights, and then Phyllis was in oncoming traffic and she got distracted that way, and then all of the crazy text messages and stuff. That's the only thing I can think of. But they were in two separate places. We saw Sharon come over and she realized that that Phyllis was unconscious. She went back to, her house, which obviously all this happened in front of Victor's house. And then maybe that's how, oh, you know what? I just thought about something. Maybe that's how Jordan got on the property because everybody's distracted by the car crash. That's possible. Tommy, you say you feel bad for the Mercedes Benz? That is funny. I mean, yeah, the whole episode was like wham bam. Exactly. So they finally get Phyllis out. She's headed to the hospital. Nick calls, um, uh, Lord, what's that girl name? Anyway, he calls his daughter, Summer. He calls Summer to let her know that, Phyllis was in an accident. She's headed to the hospital. And that's what we saw in the promo coming up for this week of the shocked look on Summer's face. Sharon is now having a Phantom Nick conversation, and Nick is like, look, you need to give it up. This is going too far. You could have done something. And Sharon is fighting her own psyche. So part of her psyche is like, I don't know if I actually even did this. The other part of her psyche, which is Nick, is saying, oh, yeah, all this stuff you did with Heather and Daniel, yeah, you need to give it up. It's time for you to let this go. And she's fighting her own mind. And then she calls Nicholas to tell Nick, is Phyllis okay? She got to wake up. And Nick is like, hold on. How would you know anything about this? And of course, she called Nicholas over to talk. I'm assuming, I don't know, we'll find out tomorrow's episode whether she actually is going to confess and maybe go to prison and maybe confess to Heather, which puts her away. But it takes the distraction off of these two, Ian and Jordan. Yep. So, yeah, this is going to be crazy. This is what we never expected. And the interesting thing about this, we had a lot of speculations, and we kind of talked about this on the midweek chat last night. Where, I mean, some people were throwing out, I even thought it was Daisy You know, could it be Heather's ex-boyfriend? I did a standalone video. Bree thought it was Faith. I mean, not Faith, Lucy. There was other people saying, is it Heather? Is it Summer? I mean, it was so many names flying, and they kept this under wraps. You talking about a November sweeps bombshell? Ian and Jordan. Now, let's talk about these two because I took a little bit of notes and I did some history. I like history, and I think you guys like history too, right? So everybody's questioning what the French toast does Ian have to do with Ian and Jordan have to do with Heather Stevens, okay? The catalyst, it's like a domino effect. So the way that this, and this is all speculation because we really don't know until the rest of the spoilers come out for the week of the 18th through the 22nd and the rest of the spoiler of the sweeps month. But here's just a conversation with you guys, right? So the connection with Heather in all of this is Paul. And if you kind of, and it leads to, because these two people, both Ian and Jordan, they have a common enemy too, Victor. All right. So it starts at Paul, but it makes its way down to Victor. Okay. All right. Follow me. Let me know if you confused or whatever. Okay. So this is a long-standing history, and Ian had connection both to Nikki and Paul. They were part of that whole cult situation. I don't know if you guys remember. And of course, they got out of the cult. Of course, Ian is not happy about that. Ian was crazy about Nikki. Paul is also was a very big protector of Nikki, getting her out of the situation. And what is one way to hurt Paul? In order for, if Ian is pissed, the one way to hurt Paul is to come for his daughter. There was also this whole crazy thing with Dylan. And, you know, of course, Paul ended up being the father of Dylan through Nikki, whereas, of course, Ian was walking around trying to claim him, even though he knew he was sterile. But the common denominator in that, once again, is Paul. How do I hurt Paul? He's taken so much. He's taken Nikki from me. I was going to have Dylan as my son. Y'all escaped my whole cult type thing. Yes. So then we got that. How is he connected to Sharon? Ian is connected to Sharon through Mariah. Now, remember, Mariah was in this whole forced marriage or whatever as part of this whole thing. She came back to town. That whole situation, I don't know if you guys remember it. And I mean, it's a lot of moving parts because you try to connect the dots on why this person, why this person, and why this person. Yes. So Ian has a connection to Mariah and that whole forced marriage situation. And of course, that was his wife. And I don't think he would be happy about the whole thing with Mariah no longer being his wife. She's now ingratiated into the family. And I don't think he's happy about that, which is why he would possibly be angry at Sharon. Because that technically was, or is, her daughter. I mean, you can't change that. DNA is DNA. How is Ian connected to Phyllis? And you can go back and do your homework because, I mean, if we talked about this, and I probably bring it up tomorrow as we get more information on the Friday episode, we'll probably talk more about this tomorrow on the weekly chat when we got Bree and myself and possibly Keish and possibly Trish, and we probably all put our 2 cents in the pot. Phyllis has a connection to Ian as well. And if you remember when Gina Tognani played Phyllis, she didn't even know who Ian was when she met him in the woods, but she was also the same person that ratted him out. And of course, of course he wouldn't be happy about that. Because, I mean, at one point she was, hey, I don't know who you are. And Ian played right into it. And I don't know if you guys remember that. Phyllis was the one that ratted him out. Now, without going into that deeper, and I'll provide probably more details tomorrow, because at the same time I'm time sensitive. It's midday for me, and I know I got other stuff to do. Hey Bree, welcome girly. um Now when you tie in to Ian has an issue with Victor. Has always had an issue with Victor, still has an issue with Victor. Nikki is his wife. So not only did Ian have an issue with Paul and Sharon and Phyllis, he also had an issue with Victor over Nikki. And who else got an issue with Victor over Nikki? Jordan. Absolutely. So you got two people with two of the same common interest, who is like, you know what? You help me deal with this part of the situation, and we can work together to get to the end goal, which is Victor Newman. Okay. Now, what I don't have the answer to is, how did Jordan get out of a maximum security prison? How did these two get out of prison? That's my question. I'm also wondering, because Heather is also an attorney, and I know she was looking for a job. It would be interesting if they even threw in a little bit of extra sprinkling into this storyline. If maybe just say Heather was about to take a job, which would have put them in prison, or something related to that. I don't know if I could go that far with that, but a good way to hurt Paul, or Ian to hurt Paul, is to take his daughter out. And I don't mean the dinner either. Okay? I just unalive his daughter. I think maybe, and this is all speculation, is they picked up on the fact somehow that some mess and drama was going on with Sharon. Now, this is a part of the storyline which I think maybe they kind of did a pivot down the road and see how we can do something for November sweeps, because we had no idea that all of this stuff with Lucy and Faith was going to end up to this point, right? So I'm wondering if they kind of inserted, that part of the storyline into this whole thing, and kind of say, hey, we can add this and, make it even greater for, first of all, the 30th anniversary of Sharon, the 30th anniversary for Michelle, and or for Phyllis, and November sweeps. So now throwing Ian and Jordan in the mix, I honestly think they got whiff of what was going on with Sharon. Maybe even figured out a way to understand. Because where did Sharon get that poison? Remember, Sharon had poison. And we know that Jordan is the queen of coming up with poison, right? So I'm wondering if maybe Sharon put in an order and Jordan was like, okay, I'll get you some poison. Who knows? I'm just speculating, all right? But for whatever reason, maybe they followed her. Maybe they knew that she was going to go and poison her, or poison the family, and didn't go through with it. And she blacked out, right? Maybe they gave her something and she passed out on the couch, and, because Jordan is the queen of that stuff. Passed out on the couch, bopped Heather upside the head, left the octopus there, snuck up out of there, leaving Sharon to wake up to all of this and her do the dirty work, dumping the body, doing all this other stuff, freaking out, talking to Cameron, seeing Heather, zombie Heather, all this old craziness, And now we come up to November sweeps, and the interesting thing is, and I know I might sound kind of all over the place, but I wanted to try to at least discuss with you guys how to connect the dots. You know what I mean? Janice, you think they were giving Sharon medication all the time? That is absolutely possible. Exactly. They could have switched out her meds. Listen, it's nice to have Colleen Zink back. I mean, listen, Jordan never disappoints. You hear me? So, how could they hurt Victor? They hurt Paul, right? They hurt Paul by unaliving his only daughter. Okay? How could they hurt Victor? Could they hurt Victor the same way? And the reason why I say that is because I posted this in the, and I'll wait till it pop up on the screen because I know there's a little bit of delay versus when I'm talking and what pops up on your end on the screen. Okay? So, there we go. So, I posted this in the community tab, and Melissa Ordway posted this about, well, now probably about 16 to 18 hours ago. She posted this because they're, one of the fans were asking, hey, why'd you cut your hair? And, most people be like, oh, I just want a different style, or I thought it was cute. And she responded with, honestly, it's been an interesting couple of months. The show decided to take me off contract. Off contract. So I decided to change up my look for a bit for auditions. She's already looking for other jobs. Now, my question popped in my head like, oh my God. So Abby, meaning Melissa Ordway, is about to be off contract. Why would you waste time marrying these two, meaning Devon, just like Sandra said? Why would you marry the two of them if, in fact, they're not going to be, she's leaving? So the only thing that, and this is just a speculation, not a spoiler. So I don't want you guys going to other platforms across Soap social media saying that it's a spoiler out there saying that this, that, and the third. This is a speculation. I'm assuming, and she might always return. It's possible. But she's already looking to do auditions for other things, right? Is it possible that if they ended her contract, is the one way that they're going to get to Victor, just like they did with Heather, could both Ian and Jordan possibly unalive Abby? I'm just going to leave a silent moment because I'm like, it's interesting that Melissa dropped this in her spoiler. Okay? She's not exactly. Let me pin Bree's comment. I'm going to pin Bree's comment. Bree says she's off contract, no recurring, no nothing. She's off contract. When you're on recurring, you're still on contract, but you get less airtime. So, this is just speculation. We're just having conversation. Okay? Anything is possible. They took Vale Bloom out. She's done. She came back as a zombie. If she's out, is it possible? Let me unpin. If she's out, is it possible that they might use Jordan and Ian to stick it to Victor by taking out Abby? And this is going to, and that's true too, Lord. Sandra, they could put Abby in a coma and we never see her for a very long time. But that's a way to stick it to Victor. Now, the problem with that is that Ashley just got back home from therapy. She just got back home from therapy. This is going to be devastating for Ashley. And I know a lot of people are saying, oh, maybe Victor needs, a little bit of karma and blah, 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 But Ashley, oh my God. Bree says, keep in mind, Victor tortured Jordan. She's going to return the favor. That could be true. Yikes. So we will have to see, guys. I that's why I didn't stick too much on the recap, because I really wanted to dive deep into the whole Ian Jordan thing. There have been a lot of questions in the comments and across Soap social media about why Ian and why Jordan. How does she connect to Heather? And the common denominator is Paul, Nikki, and Jordan. I mean, Paul, Nikki, and Victor. And I guess the collateral damage in between is Sharon, Phyllis. Um, of course, Heather is caught up in this because she's gone. Daniel, and then anybody else that gets caught up along the way. You know what I mean? And exactly, V. Carter. Abby's unaliving would affect the Newmans, the Abbotts, the Winters. It would affect every family in Genoa City because she has a pedigree that's from three very powerful families. One, she's married to one, and then she's also an Abbott. She's also a Newman. So it would wreak havoc on the entire landscape of the Genoa City families. You are absolutely right, V. Carter. I'm going to pin your comment. Thanks for bringing that up. You're absolutely correct. It would be devastating for every family involved because she's an Abbott, she's a Newman, and now she's married to a Winters. And I mean, Chance is her ex. Chance is a chancellor. And I know he would feel some kind of way about that. You know, they were married. They legally have a child together because, you know, Chance share rights with Devon. Yeah, that's going to be devastating if that's the case. Now, she could be in a coma or whatever. But it's just interesting that she dropped this story on her Instagram yesterday. So I wanted to discuss that with you guys. It's going to be interesting. Yes, Bree, I'm going to pin your comment as well. With now them being the focal point, they absolutely need to bring back Paul and Dylan. Absolutely need to bring back Paul and Dylan right now. Because if Paul is the reason, and Ian wanted to stick it to Paul by getting rid of his daughter and everybody else, Sharon and Phyllis. I mean, that's why I entitled this video, Hurricane Jordan and Hurricane Ian has hit landfall. So I'm gonna give this episode an A+. I'm gonna give this episode an A+. It was absolutely amazing. It was good writing. Shout out to Josh Griffith. You know, shout out to Josh Griffith for putting together a insanely crazy sweeps month. That's what sweeps is all about. That's what sweeps is all about. Absolutely, Jenna. I mean, with Sharon being in prison for all of this, it of course is going to hurt Mariah, Faith. Everybody is in the onslaught of Jordan and Ian. Absolutely. Well done. Everybody's going to be glued to the TV. The ratings are going to grow up. I mean, this exactly shows why Y&R got another 4 years added to their contract. Absolutely explains why Y&R got another 4 years added to their contract. This is why. Bold, I implore you, Brad Bell, your sister show is knocking it out the park. Brad Bell, y'all got to do something different over at Bold because all this nonsensical BS that you're doing where Hope is trying to dictate who keeps a secret that shouldn't be a secret because Steffy don't care who she date as long as it's not Finn. Y'all got to come up with something else. And you got Carter crashing out and all this nonsensical stuff. Come on. Y'all got to do better. Do better. Do better. And the grades are in the chat. So if you are one of the writers, pay attention to the viewers. See what we're talking about. You know, and my soapies are good at voicing their opinions. If it's not live, they voice their opinions through the live chats. I mean, through the comment section on my other videos, and even after the replay. Yes, it's going to be interesting. So, yeah, we're going to have a lot to talk about tomorrow on the weekly chat. I'm definitely interested to see what my other co-hosts have to say about where we're headed to, because this is the beginning of a nightmare. I honestly believe. Beginning of a nightmare. All right, you guys, we're going to end it here. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on your notifications so you're notified every time a video is posted. I'm T from Soap Corner Talk. Till the next one, we'll see you all later. Bye, Soapies.